Good afternoon, all of you. Am I audible? Now, today we will wind up this first module. Coming to the last portion, that is how the MOSFET is working as a switch. The last class we have learned the linear amplification process of an MOSFET. So today we will learn how the MOSFET is working as a switch. To explain the amplification process as well as the switching process, we need this particular diagram, which is called as transfer characteristics, as we have studied earlier. So this is the transfer characteristics that we have drawn, which shows the plot between Vi and V0, where Vi is your input voltage and V0 is your output voltage. V0 is plotted in y-axis and Vi is plotted in the x-axis, which exactly shows how the output is getting varied with respect to your input. Okay. Now, exactly we have three regions here: cutoff region, saturation region, and triode region. Yesterday I told you, like, this Q point we have to fix in the midway of the saturation region as indicated the line AB. So AB is a curve which indicates the saturation region. So in the midway of the saturation region, we have to exactly keep this Q point. Why? Because we should get a faithful amplified sine wave without any clipping occurring uh, due to the shifting Q point. So if somehow this Q point is shifting towards A or B, then what will happen? What will happen then? Few portions of the waveform may get clipped off. Correct, no? So it is not desirable to keep this Q point towards A or B. It should be exactly at the midway of this particular region indicated as AB that corresponds to saturation. Now, today we are studying how this MOSFET is working as a switch. Okay. So for that, we are having two regions. One is cutoff and another one is the saturation region towards the point B as indicated. So whenever I'm biasing this Q point in this cutoff region, then you can tell that this MOSFET is working as a off switch. Off switch means current conduction will not take place, or the overall drain current passing through the MOSFET is zero. That is ID is equal to zero. So this is a speciality of cutoff region. Clear? Again, I'm repeating. If we are fixing the Q point in the cutoff region, it means that the switch works as an off switch or an open switch. Open switch indicates that the current conduction through the switch is zero. The current flow is zero and the output voltage is maximum, which is nothing but equal to VDD, that is your supply voltage. So in that case, you have to establish how you got this output voltage, which is maximum, by using your large signal analysis equation, that is V0 is equal to VDD minus IDRD, which we have done in the last class. So by making use of this equation only, you're going to establish how the maximum voltage is equivalent to VDD. Clear? That is, whenever I am fixing my Q point in the cutoff region, then ID can be considered as zero, which means supply voltage VDD will come towards the output terminal. That is V0 is equal to VDD. That is your maximum output. Now, how to keep the Q point in the cutoff? So for that, we have to make our gate to source voltage sufficiently less than the threshold voltage as we have studied earlier. Okay, the gate should be less than the gate voltage should be less than the threshold voltage. Only if you can maintain the gate voltage sufficiently greater than the threshold voltage, then only the channel will get induced and correspondingly the current will begin to flow through the channel. Okay. So, but as of now, since we have maintained a gate voltage which is less than the threshold voltage, you can say that the channel has not induced yet, and because of which there is no current conduction, ID equal to zero, and correspondingly output voltage is equal to maximum value, that is VDD. So this is the explanation for the cutoff region. Okay. Any doubts, students? Clear now? Cutoff region. Now coming to the saturation region, you can see that actually the saturation region is indicated by AB. But in this middle region or in this region, like in the midway of AB, you cannot bias or you cannot operate your MOSFET as a switch because there we have the amplification. application. Okay, so for making this MOSFET to work as a perfect on switch, then what we have to do, you have to set your Q point towards B. Okay, this Q point you have to shift towards the point B, that is extreme end of this saturation. Okay, then we can say that the MOSFET is purely working as an on switch where the ID value will be maximum, the drain current is maximum. So we have to ensure a high positive gate voltage because of which the channel has induced and the current conduction has taken place, and ID will be maximum. Since ID is maximum, we can say that V naught will be very much less. Okay, V naught will be very less, and this can be considered as a on switch. So therefore, MOSFET can be operated as both amplifier as well as switch by keeping your quiescent point in a differable region. So this is what I have shown here. See, the switch is turned on after applying a supply voltage Vi is equal to VDD. Okay, so whenever you are giving an input voltage, that is your gate voltage. Vi is nothing but your gate, right? As per the circuit diagram yesterday I have shown, Vi is your input voltage which you have applied towards the gate terminal. So whenever you are giving a Vi which is equal to VDD, then correspondingly your MOSFET will get turned on, and there is a high current flow through the MOSFET, and correspondingly V naught will be very small. So you can drive your transistor into on position if you are shifting your Q point towards B and more even towards C. So whenever you are operating your Q point or fixing your Q point close towards point C, then we can say that your switch or the MOSFET is working as a perfect on switch. Okay. So with this discussion, I can say that the MOSFET is working as a logic inverter in common source mode. Why logic inverter? Because whenever you are applying a high voltage as your input, output is very small, isn't it? The second case, I have applied VA equal to VDD, which is positive high, and correspondingly your output is small. So high input means low output, and conversely, if you are applying a low input that is less than the threshold, means your output is high voltage, which is equal to VDD. Therefore, we can say that this MOSFET is working as a logic inverter, means complement of your input. The output is a complement of your input. Clear? Any doubts? Rohitam, Sandosh, is that clear? Kindly respond. Any doubts? Am I audible for you now? Just a second, wait. Any doubts? Shall we continue? Okay, thank you, Pawan. Now I'll share the problem. That is last one more numerical is pending. Okay. So yesterday I have shared the complete notes for module one. You can go through that. And one more announcement I would like to make. That is your CI first CI one IA1. So that will be online. Okay. Now today evening I will share the question bank. Okay, you can study the question bank for your CI one. The portions will be module one. Okay, module one complete. So this is a note. Already I have shared the class note yesterday as well as PPT. Written note as well as PPT I have shared yesterday. You can follow that. Clear? Other than anything, if you require or if you have any queries or doubts, means you can ask me in the classroom. I will reply. So see that you will practice the question bank. All the numerical problems you should prepare. Okay. The question bank problems you have to solve and come for the exam. Then only you will be able to get 4 marks. Fine. All these things we have discussed. Date of internals as per your calendar. You can ask your calendar as a calendar with your class teacher. She will share. I think next week, coming Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. 20, 27, 28. Class representative, you can ask class teacher exact date or the calendar. Accordingly, you can prepare. Uh, Again, I'm telling like the portions will be from module one only. Okay, module one. You have to follow the question bank. So coming to
Sir,
the
can you speak a bit louder, sir?
once more, I'll explain. See, your internal exam is scheduled from Monday onwards. You can confirm your dates with your class teacher. It will be online mode. Exams will be online mode. And for the microelectronic circuits, the portions will be module one. Okay. The question paper will have both numerical as well as theoretical questions. And it will be based on your question bank. Today, I will share the question bank. You can solve all the questions. If you have any queries, you can ask through Google Classroom. Either today or tomorrow, you will receive the question bank. Fine. Apart from that, I have also shared the assignment one yesterday. Okay, I hope you have gone through that. Assignment one questions you have to submit assignment one by this Saturday or Sunday. Okay, latest by Sunday. So the Google Classroom link itself. Any doubts? Any queries?
Sir,
Any
sir,
queries? Yes.
sir, sir,
Syllabus
can you numerical, sir, once again? One day revision, sir.
numerical. All
Yes,
numerical
sir.
I have to explain or what?
No, no, not all numerical, sir. The tougher ones.
This one, no? Tougher ones.
Ah, sir, which is related to this graphical part, sir. We need to draw the graph and analyze such numericals.
Okay. But graph wise, we don't have any numerical. You have only one derivation. That it is theoretical only. Graphical derivation of transfer characteristics.
So the
Remaining,
drawing transfer characteristics is not there, sir. Numerical.
no. It is no. There is no numerical in that part. That you have to derive actually. You have to draw the graph and you have to draw explain the part. Explain the graph
Okay.
consisting of those three regions: saturation region, cutoff region, and this thing. What triode region. But for drawing the graph, actually, you have to explain from the beginning. That is from the larger signal analysis, starting from the larger signal analysis, then going through those drain characteristics. Then you have to come to transfer character. That is, it is actually a theoretical approach. Even though the topic is graphical derivation, that is derivation of graphical derivation of the transfer characteristics means actually we are deriving the characteristics with the help of characteristic curve with the help of what the drain character. Okay, we don't have numericals in that part. Numerical, you practice all these 13, 11 questions, 10 questions. Okay. Already I have shared yesterday. So these 10 problems you have to practice accordingly. The question and such questions I have also included in the question bank also. You can practice those questions. Mostly it will be same. You can practice those questions and then you can attempt the exams. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Yeah. Now one more numerical problem is pending. I would like to explain this and we'll finish this module 1 then. The NMOS and PMOS transistor in the circuit of figure are matched with Kn dash W by L equal to Kp dash W by L equal to 1 milliampere per volt square. So till this question, we have only dealt with NMOS, right? But in this question, we have a combination of both NMOS and PMOS. That's the difference. Okay, we have a combination of both NMOS and PMOS. That is why specifically it has mentioned Kn dash Wn by Ln. That means it is for NMOS. Kp dash Wp by Lp both are 1 milliampere per volt square. So these are perfectly matched. Why they are perfectly matched transistors? Because the product of the constant, process constant, as well as the W by L ratio, aspect ratio for both the transistors are same. That is 1 milliampere per volt square. At the same time, the threshold voltage is also same. The only difference is for NMOS, it is positive 1 volt, and for the PMOS, it is negative 1 volt. Why? Because here I have mentioned negative. So VTN is equal to negative VTP equal to 1 volt. Clear? And based upon this, we have to find the drain current IDN and IDP. IDN is the drain current flowing through the NMOS. IDP is the drain current flowing through the PMOS. So we have to find the values for both IDN and IDP. Correspondingly, we will find the output voltage V0 for the 3 input. So we have 3 inputs here, 0 volt, 2.5 volt and negative 2.5 volt. So for all these 3 cases, we are supposed to find the value of IDN as well as IDP. IDN is the current, drain current passing through the NMOS, and IDP is the PMOS. I mean, drain current passing through the PMOS. Is the question is clear for you?
Yes, sir.
Now coming to the circuit diagram, you can identify by seeing the arrow mark in the transistor, you will be able to identify which is NMOS and which is PMOS. So the top one is your NMOS and the bottom one is PMOS. And also we have a positive supply voltage at the drain terminal of NMOS and negative power supply minus 2.5 at the drain of PMOS. And Vi is your input, V0 is your output taken across the emitter terminal. See, emitter is short circuited together. The two emitter terminals have been connected each other, and across we have connected a 10 kilo ohm resistance, and across which I am taking my output V0. Now we have 3 different cases to analyze. First, we'll go for the first case, that is Vi is equal to 0 volt. So I am setting my input as 0 volt. Please be aware of the fact that this NMOS is having a threshold voltage of 1 volt as per the question, and for the PMOS it is minus 1 volt. You know, for a PMOS, the gate voltage should be highly negative for the channel to induce and current conduction to take place. So the threshold voltage for a PMOS should be negative, and for NMOS it should be positive. Clear, students? Now I'm keeping my input as 0. So you tell me which MOSFET will conduct and which will be off. Recall the concept, input voltage should be greater than the threshold so that the transistor will be on. So accordingly, you tell me whether
PMOS should be on. NMOS should be off, sir.
PMOS will be on. Is it? You just think.
Input voltage should be greater than VGS.
Yeah. But see, for a this thing PMOS, your input should be more negative than threshold. That is a concept, isn't it? The gate should be more negative, no, for the channel to induce and conduction to take place. For a PMOS, I hope you are getting the concept. If for NMOS, your gate voltage should be more positive than the threshold. For PMOS, it should be more negative than the threshold, because the threshold voltage itself it is negative for a PMOS, and your gate voltage should be more negative than the threshold for so as to induce a channel and current conduction to take place as far as a PMOS is concerned. Now you tell me which transistor will on. Yeah.
Both are off, no, sir.
Very good, very good. So both are off. If both are off means, can you expect any current flow? No. Therefore, IDN and IDP both are 0. And since this is an emitter follower, correct? No, we don't have any current here because uh, this current is also zero, this current is also zero, so there is no current across your load resistance, so you can expect the output voltage to be 0 volt for the case 1. Any doubts regarding case 1?
No, sir.
Now coming to case 2. Case 2 means we are applying a positive gate voltage. Okay, you can take down parallelly, you can take down. We are giving a positive input voltage, that is Vi equal to positive 2.5 volt as per our requirement, that is more than our threshold voltage, because threshold voltage is 1 volt only for an NMOS. So as per our theory, NMOS will be on and PMOS will be off. Why? Because as far as the PMOS is concerned, we should have a negative gate voltage, which should be sufficiently negative than, more negative than the threshold. So PMOS is off here. Why? Because Vi is positive 2.4 and then NMOS is on. Since PMOS is off, directly we can say that our IDP is 0 ampere. IDP means drain current of PMOS will be 0 ampere. So you can take down till this point. Now all of you try to draw the equivalent circuit of this figure by considering PMOS as off and NMOS as on. I'll be dealing with only with NMOS because this is acting as an open switch. So don't take this into our consideration, and you will consider only this because NMOS is on right now, right? So based upon, you can redraw the circuit and try to find IDM. How you can find IDM? Because IDP, it is zero, evidently it is zero. So that you can write as such, because since the switch is acting as an off switch, IDP is zero. Now draw the equivalent circuit. How did you draw the equivalent circuit? By considering the on state of NMOS. And I have discarded my PMOS, and drain is directly connected to 2.5 volt. That is nothing but your VD. And at the emitter terminal, we are having the resistance, correct now? And across the resistance, we are taking our output. Any doubts regarding this circuit? How I have drawn this is by considering my PMOS as an off switch and NMOS as an on switch. So the entire current IDN will flow through the output resistance. So now you need to find IDN. With our previous experience, we all know that whenever we are asked to find the drain current of a MOSFET, first we have to check whether it lies in the saturation region or triode region. Only based upon that, we will take the corresponding equations and we will solve. So first, try to check the condition whether VDS is greater than or equal to VGS minus VT. Check the operating region, VDS greater than or equal to VGS minus VT. That is VD greater than VG minus VT. VD is 2.5 because the drain is directly connected to your supply voltage. Threshold voltage is 1 as per the question. So 2.5 is greater than 1.5, which means your saturation condition is satisfied, and you can write the equation for ID based upon the saturation condition. Clear? Soumya, is that clear for you? Tanmaya, clear?
Yes, sir.
Now write the equation for ID. Specifically, I will put IDN because in this case, we are having only NMOS with us. So I will put IDN half into Kn dash W by L is already given 1. Don't convert milliampere into ampere, otherwise it is difficult to solve. So we can expect our answer in milliampere itself. So I don't convert this Kn dash W by L, I'll put as such into VGS is 2.5 because VG is 2.5, right? Source is grounded. So 2.5, sorry, source is not grounded. Source is V0, correct? No, sorry, source is connected to V0. So what is VGS? VGS is Vi minus V0. That is 2.5 minus V0. Clear? So instead of putting VGS, what you will do? You will substitute 2.5 minus V0. Again, I am repeating, VGS means potential difference across the gate and source. That is VG minus VS. VG is 2.5. Then Vs here it is V0 because across the source only we are taking the output. So 2.5 minus V0 minus our threshold voltage 1. So 1.5 minus V0 to the whole square. So here we are having two unknowns, IDN and V0. So we have to replace V0 in terms of IDN. Output is nothing but current into resistance. So resistance is 10 kilo ohm. I will not convert kilo ohm into ohm because I am expecting my answer in milliampere. So let it be in kilo ohm itself. So answer is 10 IDN. So we will replace our V0 as 10 IDN, substitute here and expand A minus B whole square. Santosh, clear now?
Yes, sir.
So I will retain my Kn dash W by in milliampere per volt square only. No need to convert into ampere. Similarly, my resistance, I will take it in kilo ohm only because I'm expecting my current in milliampere as a final solution. So that it will be easier to solve the quadratic equation by using calculator. Now expand A minus B whole square. 2.25. That is A square plus B square will be 100 IDN square minus 2AB. That will be 31.5 into 10 is 15. 15 into 2 is 30 IDN. Take this 2 IDN along with 30, it will be minus 32. Then Ax square plus Bx plus C format. Take the calculator, put it in equation mode, enter ABC value. You will get two answers. Please check whether you are getting the same answers or what. Got the two answers? Nikita, have you got the same answers for IDN?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now we have to finalize the correct answer. For that, what I have to do? I should calculate V0. All of you calculate V0. And please remember that this answer is in milliampere, okay? It is not in ampere. Why? Because I have not converted my Kn dash W by L as well as my resistance value. So my answer will be in milliampere. Now you can find V0. V0 is current into resistance is 10 kilo ohm. So milliampere and kilo ohm will get cancelled. So your answer will be in volt. So check whether you are getting 2.156 volt and 1.043 volt for both these values of ID. Now, can anyone explain me how we will fix the suitable current after finding V0? Can anyone explain me, unmute and explain me how we will finalize with the actual current from the two options that we got? We should go for VGS, right? The transistor which is offering more positive gate source voltage, since this is NMOS. Please recall in the case 2 we are having only NMOS with our equivalent circuit. So the transistor which is having more positive gate to source voltage is more convenient. Okay, so corresponding to these V naught, I will find the VGS value. VGS is VG minus VS, but VS is V naught here. VG is 2.5 according to our question. For the case 2, substitute V naught here, it is negative 0.156. This is not acceptable since we got a negative voltage for the gate source voltage. Here it is a positive, which is more positive than the previous case. So I will finalize the current as 0.1043 milliampere as the final answer for case 2.
Sir,
Banu,
how is
yeah.
VGS negative, sir? This 2.5 minus 2.156.
2.5 minus,
Two-
yeah, something.
It will come 0.344, sir.
Yeah, correct. Okay, 0. Yeah, correct.
Take which are more greater positive value you have,
Yeah,
that
the
one we have.
correct. Greater positive only you have to select. Fine. This is some mistakes over here. Calculation mistakes. 2.5. I think I have taken 2.516. Something I have taken. Okay. Anyway, your answer will be less positive here, right? Your answer will be less positive here, and here it will be more positive. So the current which is contributing towards more positive gate voltage, so that will be considered as our final answer. So 0.1043 milliamp. Now coming to case 3, Vi is negative 2.5. So because of which you know that PMOS is on and NMOS is off. Why? Because your gate voltage is more negative than the required threshold, that is minus 1 volt. So PMOS is on and NMOS is off. If NMOS is off, directly you can write the drain current is 0 ampere. If NMOS is off, directly you can write the drain current of NMOS IDN is 0 ampere. Now we are there to compute IDP only. Now all of you draw the equivalent circuit. Please see that the supply voltage here it is minus. At the drain voltage you are having negative 2.5 volt. Accordingly you can mark the current flow. Recall the concept, current will be flowing from high to low potential. So considering this loop, you can find the direction of the current and mark it accordingly, and mark the potential drop across the 10 kilo ohm resistance. The polarity you can mark. So this is anti-clockwise direction. Current flow is anti-clockwise direction. Why? Because here, if you consider this loop, here it is 0 volt, here it is negative 2.5. So high to low. So in this way only the current will flow in this loop, because of which we are getting a voltage like this, plus minus. So V naught will be always negative as per this case. Output will be always negative voltage because of this current flow. Within 1 minute, this meeting will get end. Please rejoin back. Now write the condition for saturation. Since it is PMOS, it is just the converse of NMOS case, opposite to the NMOS case. That is VDS is less than or equal to VGS minus VT. Till now we have dealt with only NMOS.